Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today is Destroy Aceface Week's reveal of the list. So I have my army list here. I'm going to run through the list, how I got to the list, some tactics behind the list, just have a general chit chat really about my battle plans. So if this is the first time you've hit this video, you've not seen any of the others, then basically yes, I've got a game coming up with Aceface. Go and check his channel out, the link is in the description below. It's a practice game to the Las Vegas Open. I'm not going there, but Ace is, with his amazingly powerful Tau army. Tau army looks awesome, Ace is an awesome guy, the list looks awesome, and everything's awesome. So go and check out Aceface if you haven't done so already. But yeah, this video is about me and my battle plans and my list, which I have here, and I'm going to reveal to you, as I said, shortly. So I have a cup of coffee because I think it's maybe a slightly longer video than usual, so just have some of this. So, how did I get to my list? Well, first of all I had to decide which army to play, and I have decided to play Necrons. The main reason for playing Necrons is because I think it's arguably probably one of the best armies that I have in terms of competitiveness. My Eldar, yes, can be competitive. I haven't played that much with my army, and I don't have like all of the units at my disposal maybe to make it as competitive as I would like it to be. Now, having said that, I haven't necessarily, this is a hard one, I'm not quite sure how to explain this, but there's several criterias to my list that I want. One is I want to play something totally different to what I normally play. Criteria 1. Criteria 2 is I really want to give Ace a practice game, you know, the whole idea of the game. I know we've had a lot of like smack talk between us, you know, we've had lots of games in the past, and it's all about winning. Of course, you and I and Ace, we all know, although winning obviously is good, it's not about winning, it's about having a great time. But this game is slightly different. This game is totally designed around giving Ace some practice before he goes to the Las Vegas Open, and that's exactly what I want to do. I want to challenge him in a few different areas. For me, the game isn't about trying to beat Aceface. The game is about giving Aceface the opportunity to have some good practice. So that was another criteria that I wanted in my list. Thirdly, nothing to do with really the list I suppose, but thirdly of course we are playing ITC rules, so that includes the terrain, etc., as well as obviously the limitations within the army. So that's another obviously factor to factor in. So with that all said and done, I pretty much instantly chose Necrons, and from there on it was, what do I play? Now I want to play something different. I usually play 2 Canoptic Harvest formations, and arguably yes, that's probably the most competitive army. But I always find that when I'm playing my either the Super Flanks list or maybe the Flayed One list, you know, even just Wraiths in general, Wraiths are great for staying alive, they're great for holding things up. They're pretty good at killing stuff, but they're not awesome at killing stuff. The Wraiths are very survivable, and they take a lot of firepower up, and they're very good. But I find that I play maybe a little bit more defensively with the Wraiths. It's all about keeping the back alive. It's all about using those Wraiths to the best of my ability. And I wanted something different, because I'm going to come to this in a minute or later, what I want different. But that was one reason, so I wanted to drop the Wraiths. And I decided to go, as you already know from my previous few videos, is going to go for the Destroyer Cult formation. Several reasons for that. A, I haven't played it before. Well, I say I haven't. I played a very small points game with a proxy type formation with some proxy models. We now have all the models. So I'm going to play the Destroyer Cult formation. Now, although you don't necessarily need heavy destroyers to make that formation, I am going to play 3 heavy destroyers because I have 3 heavy destroyers in my army case that hardly get used. I think it'd be great to use them, and I am aiming to play different units to what I normally use. So once I locked down the Destroyer Cult formation, obviously I was going to use the Decorium, so I loaded out the Decorium, and then it was like, well, what else do I play within that? And my instant thought was to have a go at some Light Guard. Now, I don't have Light Guard models, however, I do have some of the old Praetorian models, and that's the models that I'm going to use for my Light Guard stand-ins. Hopefully everyone's okay with that. I think it's perfectly fine. And okay, the Praetorians are holding sort of a Warsaw weapon. So if I go for the board, you know, but Ace will be fine with that, I know he will. Anyway, so Light Guard was the choice. Now, I had a few ideas. First of all, I was going to put the Light Guard into the Night Scythe, put the Overlord with the unit, and then also take a Cryptic with a Solar Staff. The idea is you move the Night Scythe on, the Cryptic gets out, pop the Solar Staff, and then the Light Guards are protected. He can only shoot by snapshot basically on the unit the turn that they put the staff, and then I can obviously use the Light Guard after. Came across a little issue there, not 100% on the rules, but as far as I can tell, you've got to pop the staff off at the beginning of the turn. So if you're off the table in reserve, you obviously can't do that, which means you've got to come on, disembark, and then in the next phase, which obviously would be the I suppose the shooting phase, you could then pop the staff, which means I'm very, very vulnerable because Ace has a lot of interceptor in his army. So I sort of thought, get out the Night Scythe, he's going to intercept me before I can pop the staff. So that sort of made me doubt that tactic. There's also the big decision of whether to take the sword and board or whether to take the war sides. Now, against Ace, where most of his army is AP 2, or armor save 2, obviously the war sides are the weapon of choice. But then I lose the 3+ invulnerable save, and most of Ace's guns are going to bypass just a normal 3+ save quite easily. He's got a lot of high AP or low AP weaponry. So I pretty much decided that I just have to go for the shields. Although I'd love to have a whole unit of war sides, they would do a lot of damage. The survivability isn't going to be there, so I decided to go for the shields with just the standard, I think it's hyperphasic sword. It's only AP 3, so very, very survivable. The Overlord goes in with that unit, of course, and then after that I then decided, well, I really, really do need some war size in there. So I've come up with a list which gives me the war sides in there, gives me the movability without having to have the Night Scythe in there, and should work, hopefully. So that's where I came from. A few extra points left over, which I'm going to talk about in a minute once I reveal the list, which I think let's get on with the list, shall we? I'll just do the list now. Okay, so here we go. We're playing 1850 points as per the ITC tournament level. So I have the Reclamation Legion, and that is going to cost me 508 points. And in there I have, of course, the Overlord, and he is going to have a war sign. 5 Immortals, 2 squads of 10 Warriors, 3 Tomb Blades. They're going to have Blasters, Looms and Veins, just because I had the points there for that. And then I have some auxiliary units. Of course, the first one is the Light Guard, and I'll have the sword and shield, so 300 points for that unit, not exactly cheap. In the auxiliary units I've also taken 5 death marks, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Okay, so then I have the Destroyer Cult formation, so 3 groups of 3 destroyers, 1 group of 3 heavy destroyers, nice weaponry. Storm Surges have what, a 3+ save, so he's going to bypass that. Yes, he's going to get his 4+ save and his Feel No Pain. I want to talk about Storm Surges in a minute, but I think it's going to be a nice formation to have. They're all toughness 5. So he's going to need toughness, he's going to need strength 10, well I know he does have some strength 10, but he's going to need strength 10 to bypass my 4+ RP, making that into a 5+ RP. So hopefully most of his weapons I'm going to get at least the 4+ RP against. Right, then comes into how I'm going to get the war size into the list. And I've decided to go for the Royal Court formation, interestingly. So the Royal Court formation, I am taking an Overlord with a war sign. I'm taking Varguard, and I'm taking a Cryptic with the Solar Staff. Now all 3 of those, which is 300 points, are going to join the Lich Guard. Now that is a 700 point unit. As you know, this is not me, because well, usually when I play Ace I go for numbers over power. I do want to try something different, and I want to be ultra aggressive with this list. So I'm going to set up my Lich Guard with the Royal Courts formation, and on top of that the Overlord from the Reclamation Legion is going to join that unit, and I'm going to have them just basically hiding right at the back of the board, hiding. Varguard has the Veil of Darkness. Now I'm going to do my absolute best to try and get turn 1. If I don't take turn 1, I do have the advantage from the ITC rules that I don't have a Lord of War in my army, and Ace does. So I'm going to be able to seize the initiative on a 5+. So I've got a 33% chance of seizing the initiative if I don't get turn 1, which is a pretty decent stat to have. But ideally I would like to have turn 1. And then, like I said, I'm going to be ultra aggressive with this list. Ace is ultra aggressive. He has usually, in the list, if he brings the list I think he's going to bring, which is 2 Wide Tides, 2 Storm Surges and a load of Marker Drones. Those 2 Wide Tides, basically his tactic is turn 1, they move up 24 inches with their massive horrible flamers. They're right in your face. He jumps back a little bit as well if he needs to, if he doesn't want to get assaulted. I'm obviously not an assault army, so he probably won't do that. But he plays ultra aggressive, and usually I counter that with numbers, saying okay, shoot me, kill me off, I've still got loads of units left, you know, like I have done in the past. This is different. This time I'm going to try to match his ultra aggressiveness. Now not necessarily with killing ability, because obviously he has those Storm Surge things which have an awesome amount of firepower, but I'm hoping, like I said, to get turn 1 I am going to use Varguard's teleportation. I'm going to teleport the whole unit as close as I can get to him in turn 1. Obviously I'm making sure that I do not scatter and mishap, because that would be disastrous. So I won't be taking too many risks. Now I do usually risk stuff on scatters, but not with this unit. You know, it's a 700 point unit. I'm not going to risk it. So I'm making sure that I'm not going to scatter and mishap. But effectively I'm going to be right in his face turn 1. Now this unit is incredibly survivable, or at least it should be. It's going to have a 3+ invulnerable save. It's going to have a 4+ RP roll. And because of Varguard's special rule, he gets +1 to his roll. Now that doesn't mean I get a 3+ RP, but what it does mean that if Ace hits me with instant death stuff, which normally would bring my RP roll down to a 5, actually maintains it back down to a 4. So I'm always going to have a 4+ RP roll as well as a 3+ invulnerable save. Not only that, I've got the Overlord from the Reclamation Legion in there, which means that I'm going to be able to re-roll the 1s on fouled RP rolls. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to have a 3+ save, I'm going to have a 4+ save, and any ones that comes up I'm going to be able to re-roll. So that's pretty good, regardless of what weapon he hits me with. Plus, I'm going to have 2 Overlords in there, both with war size. Varguard in there, he's got a war side. And of course the Cryptic, who's going to have the Solar Staff. So I'm going to teleport turn 1. I'm going to pop the Solar Staff, which before I move, so I'm going to pop the staff beginning of my turn, then I'm going to move and land, so even if he intercepts me, he can only hit me on snapshots. Now of course that's only for 1 turn, but at least it keeps me surviving that first turn. If he assaults me, I have 3 war size. Now okay, I'm at initiative 2, but even so, 3 war size, which are strength 7, AP 2, that's pretty decent now. It's a nice little threat. So on the whole, I think that unit is going to be pretty decent. I'm not. I don't know what's the word. You know, what's it called? Where you work out all the numbers. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head now. But I haven't worked out what the statistics are of how often I should survive. But what I have done is I've done some practice with some dice, actually rolling my saves, and I've worked out on average to kill just the Lich Guard, forgetting the 4 HQs that are in there. He's going to need about 120 wounds for just to wipe the Lich Guard out on average. I did it 3 times and it was about 120-ish wounds. So you've got to get a lot of hits to then be able to wound me. No, you know what I'm saying. So that unit is very, very survivable and can do some damage. So that's that unit. So I mentioned 5 death marks, and in the Destroyer cult formation, of course, you've got to have a Destroyer Lord. I cannot believe that I'm playing an army with 5 HQs in, because it's just not like me. Usually it's like 1 HQ and all the points go everywhere else, but this is different. I'm playing ultra aggressive, like I said. So the Destroyer Lord, although I could obviously join him to the Destroyers, I've decided a little different task for him, and he is going to join the 5 death marks, and they're going to go in reserve. It's always nice having a little reserve unit. So I'm going to put them in reserve, and they have the option on Ace's turn, if he uses anything to deep strike in. Now I'm pretty sure that Ace doesn't have anything that deep strikes, but if he does, that's really, really useful, because what I can do is I can deep strike in on his turn, and then obviously shoot my guns, and then on my turn, assuming the Lord, Destroyer Lord, who by the way has a Void Reaper, assuming that the Destroyer Lord is not shot down, I will obviously put him in the middle. The death marks would go around him. Assuming he's not shot down, he has the option then in my turn to actually move away from the death marks. The death marks can't really do much because they shot in, already, so they're pretty much useless. But the Destroyer Lord, he can come away from that, and he can even assault, even though he's deep straight in, because it's the next turn effectively. Now, if Ace doesn't have any deep strikers, I'm going to have to deep strike in normally. I'm going to have to take my chances there. The Void Reaper is very, very threatening, especially against gargantuous creatures. Fleshbane, Armorbane, Strength 7, AP 2, Mastercrafted, plus obviously the Destroyer rerolls to Wound because he's from the Destroyer cult formation. Initiative 2, and the save's not that great. He's obviously got the RP, which is effectively an invulnerable save. So I'm not saying that he's going to take down an awful lot, but what I am saying is it's going to be a very, very nice little distraction unit along with the Lich Guard. So that is my list. That comes to 1848 points. Totally different from what I've done in the past. Lots and lots of units I've never played before. Death marks in the new codex I've only played a couple of times. Definitely haven't played the death marks with the Destroyer Lord with the Void Reaper. Not even played the Void Reaper yet. So that's new to me. Lich Guard I have played, but not with the board, and certainly nothing with the tactics that I'm using here. Never used the Royal Court, never used Varguard, haven't used a Cryptic from the new formation. And as I said, I haven't really used the Destroyer cult formation. So pretty much, apart from the Reclamation Legion, this army is brand new to me. Possibly dangerous to use a brand new army against Ace. But I'm pretty confident in my generalship of Necrons. I mean, if you watched my Scarab Farm video that went up recently, I literally made that army list up in about 2-3 minutes. My buddy turned up, we were running late, we said let's just play 1500 points. I said, okay, then what can I play? And I thought, oh no, I'll play the Scarab Farm. And I literally just made that army up. But my experience of the army is what won it for me. And I'm hoping my experience of Necrons, even though they're units that I've never really played, I know about them, and I'm hoping that that experience will come into fruition here. So that's the list. Battle plans. I've obviously explained most of the battle plans, but in terms of the missions for the ITC rules, if you're not aware, effectively is split down from the Eternal War missions and the Maelstrom missions with a few twists. So the Eternal War mission is basically the standard missions with, as I said, a few twists to them, some like extra special rules. But if you can win the Eternal missions, you get 4 points. And then there's a varied Maelstrom mission where you don't use the cards, you roll at the beginning of each turn to see which objectives you've got to get. So if you win the Maelstrom, you get an extra, you get 4 points. So effectively, if you win one of each, then it's a draw. And then of course you've got your extra secondary objectives like Line Breaker, First Blood. Although there is a special, I think it's called like First Strike, where both opponents have a chance of getting First Blood. So basically, if you kill a unit in your first turn, you get First Blood, and you both have an opportunity to do that. That's not on all the missions, on some of the missions. So I have read the missions. I haven't studied them too much, but what I do know is, like I said, I do get to seize the initiative because he has a Lord of War and I don't. On a 5+, pretty useful. Also know that I get extra Maelstrom missions for wounding his gargantuan creatures. I don't 100% know, but I think I get an extra Maelstrom point for every 3 wounds that I do. Something like that. I also have the opportunity to take what's it called? The Escalation War Traits, which gives my army some bonuses. Because again, I don't have a Lord of War. He does. I don't know if it's Lord of War, gargantuous creature, and he doesn't. I'm not sure. Something like that anyway. But I know that I can roll on that escalation table if I want to. I think I will. Why not? From what I've seen of the Warlord traits, they tend to be a bit biased towards shooting, and of course my Overlord is with the Light Guard, not so much shooting. But there is one Warlord trait which could be really, really useful on the Light Guard. I'm sorry, I can't remember what it is, but I do remember reading it and thinking that would be really good. It's like a close combat orientated one, and I can re-roll on the chart, so might have a go, see if I can get lucky. That'd be awesome if I could. So yeah, that's it really. I'm going to play ultra aggressive. Mission wise, I'm going to attempt to win the Eternal War missions. That's the missions that I play the most. Those are the fixed missions that you can work towards winning. Maelstrom is totally dependent upon which objectives you get, of course. If I get lucky and I can run away with the Maelstrom, I mean, I'll have to play the table. If it looks like I'm not going to win the Eternal missions, I'll try really hard to win the Maelstrom. But to be fair, I'm not really going to play the mission. I'm going to play my army. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to put Ace on the back foot if I can. His Storm Surges are so nasty, the amount of shots they have. My back ranks, which is just 10 warriors, 5 immortals, a few Tone Blades, surrounded obviously by the destroyers. arguably is very vulnerable to storm surges. Yeah, and obviously all those marker lights was really going to help him. So he's got some awesome shooting ability. I'm hoping my Light Guard unit is going to be a huge distraction. It's going to take up the majority of his shooting. The Light Guard unit will go down. I'll probably lose the Warlord, but I'm hoping it's going to be such a big distraction that it's going to allow my other forces some much needed breathing space to accomplish mission objectives. The Overlord with the Death Marks is my almost throwaway unit. I mean, the Death Marks are what, 90 points. The Overlord is, no, I say Overlord, the Destroyer Lord is 140. So combined together, 230 points. It's a throwaway unit. It has potential. It's another distraction unit along with the Light Guard. It has potential to do some damage, and I'm really liking the list. I'm really looking forward to playing it. It wouldn't surprise me if Ace got turn 1, he blasted me off the table. But then on the other side of the coin, it wouldn't surprise me if I give Ace a run for his money. We will see. Like I said, Ace is an awesome 40k player. He's very, very good at writing very powerful lists, and he rightly so should be going to the Las Vegas Open, because I think he's got a good chance. You know, I mean, it's the world's best tournament players there. I think Ace has got a good chance as anyone is playing, and I wish him all the best with that. But for now, though, I'm going to try and beat you, bud. I know you're going to try and beat me, and you probably will. But I'm going to have a go. I'm going to do my best. Bear in mind, I've never played in a tournament. We'll see. Okay, so that is it for this video. Before you dash off, make sure you come back tomorrow for tomorrow's video. It will be up at 7 AM UK time. It's a special video. Make sure you watch it within 24 hours, otherwise you're going to miss out. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.